Here, class, you should have your notes already filled in with the two examples, or the two definitions, series circuit and parallel circuit. And now we want to fill in the bottom of this notes page. Now that we've done some experiments and seen some things work, we want to fill in the benefits and disadvantages of series circuits and the benefits and disadvantages of parallel circuits. The first benefit of series circuits is they use less wire. If you remember from our experiment video, I had to keep getting more and more wires whenever I was adding light bulbs to the parallel circuit. So you definitely use less wiring and less wires when you go end to end like we did in the series circuit. So series circuits use less wire. Number 2, series circuits warn you if a component fails. So that is a benefit. If a component fails or quits working or burns up or any number of things, the whole circuit will go down and you will know that that the whole system isn't working. So that is a benefit of series circuits. So if you don't want everything to continue to work, when one piece doesn't, then a series circuit is the kind of circuit you would want for that project. All right, some disadvantages of series circuits are if one component quits working, they all quit. So sort of the flip side of that, while if you want them to quit working, that's a positive. But in most cases, you probably will want things to continue to work, like in your kitchen. If you turn the light switch off, you don't want your refrigerator to quit. So if one component quits or a switch is opened that the electricity doesn't flow through that component, the rest of the components do quit. So that is a disadvantage of series circuits. Number 2 for disadvantages is the more lights you add, the dimmer they get, and considerably dimmer. We're not talking just about a little bit. We're talking like they got considerably dimmer. The very last one there, we couldn't even hardly see the glow of the little orange dot. So the more lights you add, the dimmer they get, and this is pretty significant dimming, not just a little. All right. And if we move over to parallel, okay, we can see that a benefit of parallel is sort of the opposite of the series disadvantage. A benefit of parallel is if one component fails, it doesn't shut it all down. Okay, so when we took out one of the light bulbs in the parallel circuit, the other light bulb continued to work. And when we put that one back in and took the other one out, the first one still continued to light. So it doesn't require all the components to be working in order for electricity to flow, because electricity has those different routes. Okay, it had 2 different loops, or depending upon how many components you have, it has that many different loops that it can go through. So it can light any, all, or some of the components. Okay. The other benefit of parallel circuits is you can add more lights and maintain brightness. We did see just a slight bit of dimming, but for the most part, the light bulbs stayed fairly bright, so there wasn't near the kind of dimming that happened with series circuits. And if you're using higher wattage than or higher voltage than what I was using, you see even less of that dimming happening. So if you use a 9-volt battery or something like that with bigger, then there's less dimming that occurs. So, but for the most part, there's very little, very minor dimming that occurs with a parallel circuit. Okay. And the last thing here is parallel circuit, and the one disadvantage to parallel circuits is it uses more wire. Okay, so it does tend to use a lot of wire in order to keep all of those on basically different loops. you know. So when you're wanting to keep them all on different loops, you can touch those wires end to end, but you need enough wires to make the loops all basically separate. They can touch at the different components, but you need enough wire that it is going to go the whole way around each component and back to the battery. Okay, so if you need to, pause this video to get those advantages and disadvantages filled in. Don't forget to take a look at the discussion questions for the week and the few videos and activities that I have listed in Schoology this week, as well as putting together your circuits and turning those in for homework. So if you have any questions, be sure to message me. Have a great week.